different ways they can get content to students. Canvas also allows teachers to deliver assessments in various ways. We have to see if the kids got what we taught them. The assessments are the way that we do that. Canvas allows us to do this in an online format if we choose. But one of the more interesting things that I've seen so far, a trigonometry teacher actually sent out problems to their students through Canvas, and the students actually worked it out on paper, and then when they were done, instead of entering it back in through the computer, they just held up a piece of paper in Canvas Studio and took a picture of it, and that's how the teacher got their work. I know it seems rather simplistic, but that worked very well, and I think it made everyone a little more comfortable who was in that course. So there are lots of ways for teachers and students to go back and forth on assessments here. Canvas also allows the opportunity for teachers and students to give and receive feedback. That's one of the most important things in my mind, is giving students feedback about what they got right, what they got wrong, how they can improve. And it also allows students to have class discussions within Canvas. So there are lots of ways for us to use this program to facilitate discussion amongst students and teachers. Another way of looking at Canvas is thinking about it as the basic reliable car. So instructors are going to operate, they're going to transport their students to a learning destination. All the parts in the car work together to make the vehicle move. All of the parts of Canvas have to work together to deliver content and sets. Now, just like a car, you're not going to need to use all of the parts at the same time, but each one is equally important for the operator of that car to know how to use. So, what if we want more than a basic car? What if we want white wall tires and rims? What if we need fuzzy dice? Well, Canvas does have customizable pieces to it, and it will give teachers and students a better overall experience. And some of the examples that we have in our instance currently for Google. We have been working with teachers on creating Google assignments for 2+ years now. And one of the things that I've heard from teachers when we started to make this change is, oh no, Google Classroom is gone. Well, Google Classroom was our old car, and this is our new car. But all those things that you had in your old car, let's say Google Docs was your floor mat, or Google Slides was your seat cover, all that can get moved into the new car, and it works very well there. We tested it out this weekend back in fact, and it worked really great. So another aspect or add-on to Canvas is the Canvas Studio. This is going to allow teachers and students to do screencasts if they're on a PC, or if they're on a Chromebook, they can record via their webcam. But this is one of those add-ons that's going to make Canvas a little more special and easier, not so much to say easier, but more robust for students to use and teachers to use. Discovery Education, we've had this in the county for a long time. It turns out that Discovery Ed and Canvas work very well together. In fact, we can sync the two up, and teachers can deliver the DE content, those videos, those images, all of the things that are in Discovery Education can go through Canvas. The Read Speaker app is in the Virtual Virginia instances for students, and right now it's not in ours, but it is coming very soon. The Virtual Virginia trainings that I participated in have had the Read Speaker, and I found it quite helpful because Virtual Virginia content seems to be very text-based in a lot of ways, and this really helps students who have a hard time reading, or if you're just like me and you start to glaze over after you've read page after page, listening to it becomes much more pleasant than just reading through all the material. So let's talk about the fuel that powers our learning inside of Canvas, and that's our course content. So the fuel for our courses is going to be Virtual Virginia. Without that content, the car isn't going to go anywhere. It's just going to be a shell. Now, that said, Virtual Virginia for K-8 is a new thing, and they're building it out, but teachers are going to be encouraged to generate their own content to supplement what's already in Virtual Virginia. Where I taught 7th grade, there already is some 7th grade material in there, but as a teacher, I would want to have my own content in there as well, and Canvas does allow both the Virtual Virginia and the teacher-generated content to work together in the system. So now we've talked about the car and what's powering it. Let's talk about the driver and the passengers. So let's start with the drivers. There are teachers, and they need training too. So our version of Driver's Ed is an online PD called Growing with Canvas. Now, Growing with Canvas trains teachers on how to operate the Canvas learning management system by teaching them course design by using modules. It's a real simple sentence there, but there's a whole lot to it. Modules contain all of the information. They contain the course activities. They contain the assignments. They contain the discussions and the quizzes. And one of the things that teachers were worried about, or I was worried about when I first saw this, was, well, what happens to that student who races through? Turns out we can actually program those modules to either stop after a student has gotten so far or have prerequisites. So a student can't just rush through it. They have to actually go through certain sequences, get things correct, or upload or participate in whatever way the teacher deems appropriate for this course. One thing that's going to make this remote learning work that we'll talk about in the PD a little too is meaningful online interaction with students. Responding to the students through the comment section, through the discussions. That's what makes it work, for me anyway, when I was in the classroom, was relationships, and there are ways to develop these relationships online through communicating with the students on Canvas. So now that our students, or that our teachers have been taken care of, we need to talk about the passengers. And some training is going to be necessary for the students as well. Students who are attending school remotely, they're going to be able to access the internet. So that'll be in there, and we'll have to show them how to get their Wi-Fi, that type of thing. Also, students will have to be able to log into their Pulaski County issued Chromebook, or if their parents have a comparable device, a PC or a laptop, they can use that as well. The only caveat there being, they'll need to have something like Google Chrome or Firefox or Microsoft Edge, but an up-to-date web browser. Canvas can also be accessed through the Pulaski County Public Schools website, and that will be up for students at the beginning of the school year. This will make students, make access much easier for students who are using Chromebook, because if they're signed into the Chromebook through their Pulaski County credentials, then all they'll have to do is go to our website and they'll click right in, no username, no password to remember, they're just in. That's going to be very helpful for them. We're going to have to train them and show them where that is and help them troubleshoot any problems that may arise. So in closing, we've said it over and over again, that this time is unprecedented. We're doing things for education that we never dreamed we would have to do. But in the big view, we're building a road here now, and this online education is a piece of it. So we can allow students to continue with their education even if school closes. I thank you for your time, and I hope the school board members that if you're interested in seeing the professional development that we're rolling out to teachers, we started that on August 4th, let me know, and we'll put you in there so you can see what they're doing as well. Hope everyone has a great evening.
All right. Any questions for Dr. Sears or for Mr. Webb?
Are you going to show us the inside of a Canvas course tonight, or are we going to wait and do that another time?
I can show you what the PD looks like right now.
I think it would be helpful to see exactly what one looks like, because it's a lot to get your mind around unless you see that it's not as scary as it sounds.
Like to Dr. Sears having that TC.
Is it similar to Blackboard?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not used Blackboard on the teacher side. I've done it as a student. And I would say it's similar, but there's more to it.
There's a lot more to it than Blackboard. I have a question while he's getting in there.
Sure.
I find that always the week of classes, and Mr. Taylor, you can answer this as well, there are probably 3 times as many issues with people getting logged on and finding things. Is there going to be a number parents can call?
Yeah, we're developing an online FAQ page, and we're going to direct people to either an email address or a phone number that they can call. We had great success last year with the Chromebook one-to-one. We developed an online form that kids themselves, they just put in a help desk ticket, and myself, Lincoln, or someone else from my staff would attend to their problem. So it worked really well. So I think we can replicate that model throughout the whole county.
There's just always a learning curve.
Yes.
With things like this, and people tend to get frustrated really fast when they shouldn't.
We're also trying to develop some training videos that we can put on that FAQ page, and then for those people that are really having trouble, we're going to plan to make some spaces available where they can come in face to face. We can socially distance, we can wear a mask, and kind of show them how to use the devices as well.
So that's the inside. That we're on a student view right now, and this is one of the things that I really liked about the program was that teachers could go in and look and see what it's going to be like if they were a student participating. But it's laid out with a homepage that pretty much tells you, what the course is about. When our teachers build these, I would expect them to maybe put some information about themselves in there, their picture, maybe their phone number, their contact information. And then the other part really is right there where the modules are. That's where it's all laid out. It's very linear. Right now, this is, let's see who this student is. So this is just a random account in here, but the students would work through just the different modules. So they click on 0.1, and when it goes, it's going to talk to them about the course. This particular one has badges that they go through and they earn, but they basically read through the page. There could be multimedia on there. There could be a video. There could also be assessments built in there, whatever type of media they wanted to put in at that point. I'm going to go next here. But typically they just kind of go through. For this one, like you can notice it is rather text intensive. That's where that screen reader would come in. We don't have that piece yet, but I understand around the 17th of August that should start showing up in our instance. Let me go to
jump kind of in. We can also integrate the applications that we've also purchased, whether that be HMH, Discovery Education, Google content that they've already created. So it's a very customizable platform for us. Key feature I think we need to hit on is they can't just next through all this content. No. If there's assessments based, they have to take those assessments and prove that they've mastered the content first.
So I'm trying to get to one of the assessments to kind of show them what that looks like. But like on this page right here, it's got lots of links just to different things within Canvas. But putting the links in really isn't that bad. It's just a matter of typing it in, knowing where you're going, and popping it in and basically hitting save. The teachers, when they go through the training, they'll be trained how to do all of this. And we rolled this training out to them in August 4th, and I'll actually start meeting with some of them face-to-face tomorrow morning at Pulaski Elementary School.
So we're doing a 2-day training this week and a 2-day training next week in person.
I'm trying to find one of them. So like for this one, this is where we start getting the meat of it, because they were selling it before about the program. But this is an instructor video where this one's just going to give the basic overview. Now, this could have been a video that was made by a teacher going through and maybe reading through their PowerPoint, giving a lecture, or just if there was some type of educational video from Discovery Ed, putting that in. And then right below that, and this one does not have it, it's a training course, but there could be a quiz module or something where they would write in, like, I don't know, an essay about what you just wrote. I even played around with fill in the blanks and matching questions on this kind of thing the other day. Go through a little bit more here. Trying to get to a spot where it stops. So notice like we are getting into a little more of the meat of it because the next one is another video. So it'll just keep on going through kind of like that. And like I said, this is for the teacher training. Getting here. Same, it kind of rolls, it becomes pretty similar. But at this point, when we get to this try it page, notice where it says submit assignment up there. So the teachers in the training, they've gone through, and at this point, they've gone to the settings. They've changed their avatars. They've changed their names. They've done all that cutesy little stuff up front. And they have to prove it. So they would go to where it says submit assignment. And from here, this is where they were instructed to take a screenshot of what they've done, and they would click on file upload and they would upload that file. We've trained our teachers how to do that already, so they know how to do that kind of thing. But students may not know. So if they needed to do some type of a text entry, that one's right there for them. If they wanted to video themselves, verbally giving the answers, the studio, that part allows them to do that. The one piece with the studio on our Chromebooks, it doesn't do screen captures, but it will operate the camera part of it. So that's where I said that students would hold up those answers and the teachers could see them. And then finally, this is going to give me basically you're not verified because you're not a real person, but they could pop in their, if they made something in their Google Drive, they could pull from their Google Drive and submit that way too. So that's one of the big assignment pieces right there.
And are you going to train the teachers to set up their own rubrics and use those?
That is part of, that's actually built into this training.
Okay.
Let me run back.
So much easier.
Let me run back real quick.
And I don't want to get too far in the weeds. I'm just.
No, it's okay.
curious to-
Let me get out of that real fast. If you look through the modules though, there is a part down there that talks about, I know it's kind of grayed out here, but it talks about content header there. There is a part about rubrics and how to design those. And actually, as I've been grading the teachers' work, I really like using the rubric. I used it when I was in the classroom to grade notebooks, but the rubric for grading the teachers makes it real easy. It's either you didn't do it or you did, and I can kind of gauge how well they did and tell them on the rubric.
Well, we know what the expectations are.
Yeah, this particular module, we tested out too. I had a test group that went through, I'm going to say the last week of July, and I gave them 2 different training courses to go through. This is the one that they picked. It was also the one that I would have picked too. There was a lot more to this one, and it was pretty overwhelming that this was the one that the test group, and I kind of picked tech-savvy teachers to go through and look at it. This is the one that they wanted. So there was a reason that we chose it, and it was because it was so comprehensive.
Will the dashboard for the student have like icons for their classes on there?
Yes, ma'am. Let me leave out the student view real quick. The dashboard for the student it'll have icons, and actually, since I'm in my dashboard, I call this the skinny snowman up the top up there. They can pick how they want it to look. So those cards are each individual classes. And they can have it set up like that, or they can have the list view. Over on the right-hand side, the to-do list, if a teacher has a due date, it's going to pop up over there. So it lets the students know. There's also an email feature built into it, that inbox down there. So teachers and students can correspond through this particular medium without going out too far on the internet. And also, what did I miss, Josh?
I don't think anything. I think on the dashboard, it's integrated with PowerSchool. So if the kid is enrolled in a course, when they log in, they automatically see that course. So if they switch courses or what have you, it's not anything like Google Classroom where they have to get registered for a course. They just log in and see what is already assigned to them by PowerSchool.
And we can manually put them in too, but the PowerSchool piece has been fantastic.
Yeah, so we don't really have to duplicate service and work.
What's the studio button
The
there?
studio, that's actually more fun. If you're on a PC, it is stronger because a PC is a much stronger machine. But the studio, that's where you can record the screen. That's also where students can operate the webcam aspect of it. But that's what the studio is.
Basically just a video editor.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I can hit record for you real quick. So I can do screen capture, so the video that I showed you in the very beginning, I used a different program because I'm just more used to it right now. But it's the same kind of thing where I recorded myself speaking over that PowerPoint. You could do that, or you could go to the webcam and the teacher could actually record their lectures. You could have this sitting up in the back of the class in theory and record yourself teaching.
So will this be on the teacher screens and the student screens? Can students use studio?
It is available to both. So like Lincoln was saying earlier, the Chromebook feature doesn't really utilize that. So the students probably won't use it as much, but we have another screen capture tool that we're going to push out to them that they're familiar with. The teachers would have access to this because they have access to a desktop computer.
Were you talking about actually face-to-face, so like students talking on one side and teachers on the other, and it being like a live conversation?
I wasn't, but that's a good question.
But Google Meet,
You-
how
we
we're going
use
to use that. I thought that's what you
Yeah,
said. So, but Google Meet is the tool we're going to use for that. Please.
Yeah, it is. That gives us a little more control about this, the kids can't start their own Google Meets. They can't hang out without an adult present. So the teacher has to be there and allow the kids into the Google Meet so they can chat, in a classroom setting or one-to-one.
I was thinking maybe a class where a student might need to do a presentation and they record their presentation and submit it or something.
Absolutely, and they could do it with the studio for sure. Absolutely.
So this doesn't integrate with Zoom.
No.
You already use.
I mean, we could use Zoom. It's really, our platform is Google Meet, just because the kids are already in a group, on a Google Chromebook. They don't have to log in a second time. They just click Google Meet. They're signed in as themselves, and the invite that the teacher sent them is there waiting for them.
Okay, so the synchronous part will take place in Google Meet.
Yes, ma'am.
And anything asynchronous, and I'm assuming they're gonna record some videos and things, they'll be.
That's what I would suggest, yes.
Okay. It's very easy to use.
It seems that people are just more intimidated by it right now because it's new, but they were intimidated by Google when we first rolled that out.
And you cannot break it.
It gives us a lot of flexibility from the.
There's a scary word.
Yeah.
I tell my students, whatever you do, I can undo.
Yeah.
You cannot break it, so it's okay. It'll be fine.
I for one like the organizational part of this, especially on the dashboard, because I worked with my son and we struggled through all the Google Classroom stuff. It was really difficult to move around. This looks way.
Yeah, can you go back to dashboard?
Sure.
This program also gives our curriculum department a lot more flexibility to see inside each classroom and see what's really going on too. So.
Each one of those classes, you can change the picture and the kind of tint of it, and they actually provide you, you go to Flickr to get those?
Yes, there are a couple different places, but Flickr is one of the places.
Flickr's one of them, so I just try to find something with the Anglo-Saxon helmet for one of my classes, so my students recognize it easily, and it's easier for them to find the class.
The bottom one down there is actually one of the teachers here at the high school that I was working with her over the weekend. But she's done a real fantastic job with it. And that's where we did the experiment with the Google Docs to see how it would work in there. And it really did. It worked well. I was pleasantly surprised.
And it will automatically tell students when you've graded something.
Well, yeah, absolutely. If you go back, well, it tells me when they've turned things in, that to-do list on that side. Those are all the teachers who are currently working through the modules. So I know that I have something to grade. I have not looked at it on the other side. I've really been in the teacher role with this.
If you put a grade in and give feedback to a student, they get it automatically on their, if they have the Canvas app on their phones, they'll get that. Because I have them email me and say, well, thank you, I didn't think I deserved an A on that, but I'm glad I got an A. So, that's really nice for that kind of instant feedback that Hattie and Marzano all say that we need to have. That's very important. Okay. I feel like I'm trying to set up.
So
Wonderful.
all the way down to kindergarten, they're going to be using this?
Yes.
Have we tested it out on a kindergarten?
Well, I will tell you, my elementary teachers, they are the ones, we were given this instance.
We got access to this mid-June. So we had a training out that was ready for beta test mid-July. So.
And I had elementary teachers trying to get in touch with me, let's call it July 9th, to get in. And so they went out on their own. And I'm going to tell you, the elementary folks, they've dug into this wholeheartedly. They're probably more of an expert than I am right now. It's been pretty incredible to watch. The biggest thing I've had to do with elementary is to reel them back in and say, okay, we need content, not cute. But they're doing a great job of building this out. So it's always scared me with kindergartners doing this, but I believe the teachers are going at it and they're going to try to make it work for them.
Any other questions?
No.
Josh or Lincoln? Thank you both so much. Didn't say you guys have been critical to this school year, more so than ever before. So very much appreciative of the work you're doing. Thank you both very much.
Thank you to everybody who's worked on this virtual academy, because I know it's been a lot to get your mind around. Just a lot of organizational representation moving parts. So thank you.
Brings us to update on Pulaski County Middle School. I don't see a representative from Skansky, so I believe Mr. Scholl will probably be able to see that.
Yeah, one of us had to stay at the school site, so I don't know which straw I drew, but I'm here, so,
And we still have work going on at the school site. That's a good thing.
yes, sir, we do. I don't know what he's got there, I've got to see.
Give me just a second. Sorry, if I could say something before we get too much further into it. A lot of comments are coming through, so I have posted on here that if people have questions, to email them to me and give them my address, and then ask if they're going to make a public comment to give their name, where they live, and make the comment, and I'll be more than happy to read that in accordance with public comments. But then I let them know that we're not going to hold a question and answer session at the end of the board meeting like we did last month. We'll just handle that through email.
First, I'll say that my presentation won't be as interesting as the one before, and in my profession, everything is breakable. So I don't know of anything that's unbreakable, but.
Oh, look at that.
All right, just to give you guys a quick update, the big push at the school site lately has been getting DE&F ready for furniture install that began today's Monday, August 10th. And as you can see, we did a mock-up classroom today at 2 o'clock for Rebecca Smith and some other school employees to look at, and that is our mock-up setup for a social distance classroom that'll hold 22 students. The big push, obviously, it was for furniture first. Today was appliances. We took delivery of all the appliances that are owner furnished, owner installed. We did start installing some of the appliances today. When I say we, I mean, Pulaski County Public School employees, they're owner furnished, owner installed. Tomorrow, the push is going to be the Promethean boards for Mr. Taylor. We're delivering 51 Promethean boards to be installed in DE&F tomorrow. Trying to make a push for to get the classroom computers set up Monday, August 17th. And we also plan on sometime between Wednesday and Monday to begin moving teaching materials into these rooms as well. So right now the push is to get DE&F up and running. That's where we're at, and this is just a picture of one of the classrooms. You see the nice shine on the floor there. That is thanks to Pulaski County Public School custodial staff. We went in and cleaned DE&F just to make it possible. We had to intervene. But I wanted to point that out because that's a pretty shiny floor, and that was done by our staff. So that's the big push at the school site right now. You've also noticed that there's been some pavement out front and striping. So the outside's coming along pretty well too. So that's another shot of the mock-up classroom. So, and again, it's bare bones. Treat it like a shell and keep everything as spaced out as possible. It's a teaching desk. But we think and that's where we're going to have our furniture installer set everything up. So when the teachers arrive, their rooms are COVID ready. They don't have to rearrange or do anything. They're already set up for the social distancing aspect of going to school.
They look great.
So that's the push right now this week, to get DE&F fully furnished, get them as clean as we can get them, and then move on from there.
Question. Yes, thanks to operations for everything you guys are doing. You're going above and beyond what was required, and we're very grateful.
Thank you.
Brings us to operations update.
Operations update. As you can see, the nice new carpet in the auditorium. Before I get into the work order update, we have been able to accomplish some summer tasks at other buildings this summer, which is amazing in and of itself. And I plan to, in the next board meeting, to have a picture presentation of some before and after shots of things we've done. But since we're standing in one of the things we've done, I thought I would point it out. The carpet and the stage face here, we redid, finished it last week. And if you noticed the foyer when you walked in, we redid all the foyers that we could. We have some more that need work, but there's some outstanding issues that are there that we're trying to correct before we put those in. But did the foyers here as well. We also did the windows here in the courtyard on the CTE side and the high school side. I'm working on getting those lettered. Hopefully I'll have them lettered before the next board meeting, if we can pull that off. Finish the lighting at DES. There's a few other things out there, but hopefully in the next meeting, September meeting, I'll give you a full rundown of that. Work orders right now, open work orders are 89. We were 90 last month, so I don't know how we're managing to maintain that because, you know, I think I had 18 of my staff at the new school since Thursday of last week through the weekend. So we're still doing okay on the work orders. I don't know how else to say it. We're managing.
Questions or comments, Mr. Shaw? Again, Jess, thanks to operations, everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Dr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Earlier today, I received notice from our attorneys that they were switching from Reed Smith to Sands Anderson, specifically our attorneys who assist us with special ed related issues. And based on that move and the likelihood that Reed Smith will need some time to recruit and train attorneys who specialize in special education, I would ask that the board allow us to also bring on Sands Anderson as approved school board attorneys so we can continue to use those same attorneys for issues that we have been working with them on over the past few years. And it's listed as an information item, but if the board is comfortable approving that tonight, I would ask that it be moved to an action item. If not, we can hold off till next month and have it as an action item then.
Probably better off moving it on the action item and going on moving forward with this. Everybody's in agreement. Everybody's in agreement. Is there a motion to move this to an action item?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to move the hiring of Sands Anderson as school board attorneys to an action item.
Okay. So there's a second.
Second.
Support.
Mr. Hurst.
Yes.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Ms. Cox.
Yes.
Dr. Cash. Yes. Ms. Golden.
You can, I guess, deal with when we get to the action item.
Okay.
Calendar items, Dr. Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's starting to look a little busier as we get closer to the opening of school. This Thursday, we have scheduled a virtual town hall with the New River Health Department and have invited the members of the faculty and staff advisory team, as well as 2 student representatives from the student advisory team to participate in that. And we will be discussing with Dr. Bissell, the current state of community spread within Pulaski County and the New River Valley, the various mitigation strategies and the effectiveness of them and how they are incorporated into our plans. And also probably what's most prominent in people's minds is how are we going to respond when we have positive cases within our schools. So we have a group, we have at least 1 teacher from each school, and they have been reaching out to their colleagues and asking for any questions or comments that they would like brought up at that town hall, and we will be recording that and making it available for all of our faculty and staff to view. Dr. Bissell had volunteered to do something with our teachers when we met with her a couple of weeks ago to do the tabletop exercise. And I thought this was the best way to try to get questions from the school to her and allow her to give us some more specific feedback. On Friday and Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, we are having Broadway Under the Stars in the Pulaski County High School parking lot. You may have seen some of the students here today. This is their one night of practice, and it will be in full compliance with social distancing guidelines. And in between each student's performance, students will be doing solo performances. In between each one, we will wait 5 minutes as is recommended, and areas will be sanitized, and announcements will be made from an area that is a safe distance away, and people can show up, and you can either watch from your vehicle, or I think they are planning to have 3 parking spots for each vehicle. So if you want to bring lawn furniture and have a seat out in the parking lot and watch some of our seniors perform, it should be a good event, and the first school performance that we've had in quite a while. So at 7 o'clock.
Is this going to be in the student parking lot, or is it going to be?
I think it's out.
Okay.
The students will be at the top of the steps.
Okay.
And then we have, of course, a list of our open houses. The elementary schools are planning a drive-through open house, or at SES, the pre-K with an appointment only. And just a few of our back-to-school events will look much different this year. We will not be holding full professional development days. We'll be having professional development offerings that are virtual. We will not have a convocation. We will try to do some type of welcome back message and be able to get that out to everyone, but it will not be our traditional convocation. And we had hoped to be able to do that at the new middle school this year, but we will just put that on the calendar for next year, and still plan to try to do it at the middle school and have a big event celebrating all that the community has accomplished in getting that building up and going.
I have a question for Ms. Bowling. I don't see PCHS. I know that open house is going to be popular this year. Have you decided the plan, or are we still waiting?
Yes, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. The 25th would be 12th and 11th grade, the 26th and 10th grade, 27th and 9th grade. It'll be a drive-through event. It'll be that afternoon into the evening hours to accommodate parents who will be working during the school day, or during the day. And we are planning to do something similar to Mr. Hurst was here on May 15th when we had the sign pickup event. We would like to do something that welcomes a little school spirit, makes it a little positive. But prior to that, we're going to be offering some videos online that will show students how to access their schedule, and complete the care docs online that would limit any folks who would not be comfortable coming to the school.
So we'll get information about that.
Absolutely.
My daughter will get the information, and it's just not telling.
I guess that covers all the calendar items. Any other questions for Dr. Sears in regards to calendar items? If not, we'll move on to action items. We'll go ahead and pick up with the hiring of Sam Anderson as a school board attorney, one of our available school board attorneys. At this time, is there a motion to approve Sam Anderson as school board attorney?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Sam Anderson as our school board attorney.
Is there a second? Second. Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Hurst.
Yes.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Ms. Cox.
Yes.
Dr. Cash. Ms. Golden.
DSBA policy updates, Dr. Sears.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The policy updates were presented as an informational item at last month's meeting, so we would ask that they be approved this month.
Any questions or comments for Dr. Sears or for Ms. Rash? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the VSBA policy updates as were presented? Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the PSBA policy updates as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Porter?
Mr. Hurst.
Yes.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Ms. Cox.
Yes.
Dr. Cash. Ms. Golden.
Brings us to the PCHS course catalog of electives additions, including Ms. Bowman, who's going to be discussing that.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Sears, here at the high school, we are trying to accommodate the students who are participating in the PCBA. Students who are participating who are otherwise scheduled for CTE courses that would require them to come onto campus to participate. We would like to increase the number of electives, considering more academic electives also that would be available to students who choose not to come onto campus, that we could offer them some other opportunities. We have noted some of the courses we would like to add. Astronomy, oceanography, I believe those would be things that folks would be very interested in getting to participate in. And also we noted on there general Plato courses, which would be courses that we can offer as a teacher of record. That teacher of record can supervise students doing multiple different courses through Plato. I'm sure some of you are very familiar with that. We've resurrected some other courses that we haven't used for many years, such as music theory, to allow our band students and music students to remain connected with the program during this time, as they can work with their teachers and not be eliminated from the program that they have chosen to be theirs of interest. So we would just like to add those to our course catalog.
Any questions or comments for Ms. Bowman? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the addition of the elective courses to the PCHS course catalog?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the addition of those courses to the PCHS course catalog.
Is there a second? Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Hurst.
Yes.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Ms. Cox.
Yes.
Dr. Cash. Yes. Ms. Golden.
Brings us to the joint statement regarding support for school resource officers. We earlier tonight heard comments from Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Guthrie. So, Dr. Sears, if you'd like to move this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will read the joint statement from the Pulaski County Board of Supervisors and the Pulaski County School Board regarding our support for school resource officers. The Pulaski County Board of Supervisors and the Pulaski County School Board recognize the value and importance of school resource officers in Pulaski County Public Schools. SROs provide many valuable and necessary functions for our schools. SROs help to promote and maintain a safe learning environment for our students and safe work environment for our faculty and staff in the schools. SROs help solve problems, address issues, give advice and guidance to our students, and are excellent role models for students to learn from and emulate. The Pulaski County Board of Supervisors and the Pulaski County School Board both saw the value that SROs provided at Pulaski County High School, which was initially the only school in the county with an SRO, and worked hard to expand the program to provide an SRO for all of our county public schools. The Pulaski County Board of Supervisors and the Pulaski County School Board gratefully acknowledge the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office for providing well-trained and highly qualified sheriff's deputies to serve as SROs in each of our county's public schools. It is the desire and intent of the Pulaski County Board of Supervisors and the Pulaski County School Board to continue the SRO program in our public schools as it is currently, with no reductions in funding, responsibility, or number of personnel. The Pulaski County Board of Supervisors and the Pulaski County School Board share concerns that rumors of contemplations being circulated concerning reducing or eliminating SROs in public schools in Virginia could become proposed legislation, which, if passed and signed by the governor, could restrict or eliminate our ability to fund, utilize, and enjoy the benefits gained from our current SRO program. We therefore would oppose any such legislative action should it be presented, and would communicate the same to the governor and our General Assembly representatives. Signed on this 11th day of August, 2020 in the county of Pulaski, Virginia.
Had an opportunity to hear the statement, joint statement from the Pulaski County Board of Supervisors as well as the school board. Are there any I would simply say, that, I'm so grateful for our SRO. For years, we really were concerned about the resource officers in our schools, and making sure we had safe schools here in Pulaski County, and needless to say, that's not changed. So we're very grateful for the work that they do, very grateful for the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office for their assistance with that, and we just wholeheartedly support our school resource officers. At this time, if there's no other questions or comments, is there a motion to approve the joint statement regarding support for school resource officers here in Pulaski County?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make that motion, please, that we approve and, or accept and approve the joint statement regarding support of school resource officers in Pulaski County.
Motion's been made by the Vice Chairman. Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Porter?
Mr. Hurst.
Yes.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Ms. Cox.
Yes.
Dr. Cash. Yes. Ms. Golden.
Brings us to future agenda items. At this time, if the board would like to request any future agenda items for our superintendent. If none, you know how to get in touch with Dr. Sears. So, brings us to recognition of citizens. Dr. Sears.
Mr. Hurst, no one has responded since I made that post, except Ms. Ransbottom, and she's just letting us know where the play will be, or the performances will be on Friday.
Anybody else in here would like to be recognized? We'd be more happy here. If not, we will adjourn. Thank you all for coming.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, one comment just came through, actually.
All right.
Terry Umbarger from Pulaski, concerned for our children by seeing other schools already shutting down because of outbreaks, and now Roanoke switching to all virtual for at least the first 9 weeks. Hazelwine, Cardinal Drive, Dublin. While I believe our plan for in-person learning is as thorough as it can be, I do worry that now is not the time for in-person instruction. Those are the only 2 comments we have. And I'd like.
I have a question.
Okay.
I know we're adjourned, but with all the virtual enrollment, was there any of their elementary schools that was impacted to the point that they're not going to be operating fully?
No, it balanced out pretty well to about between 25 and 30% of the students from each grade level at each school. It was surprisingly consistent throughout the county.
And is their enrollment percentage about what other counties are seeing that are?
We were exactly in line with Russell County, and we were a little higher than some of the other counties in our region. But I will also say that Russell County and Pulaski County are probably the first 2 that started signing students up for it as well. I know some of the neighboring counties just started last week allowing students to register for all virtual learning. So we started it in June.
It'll be hard to put that cat back in that bag.